Hey everyone, Eric from Groomsmen Central back again with another product review. Today we are going to be going through the Hopsy Sub and Mini Keg countertop beer dispenser, which they bill as being the equivalent of using a Keurig coffee maker, but to pour beer instead of coffee. So it just showed up today after I featured this product in one of our blog posts as gifts for beer lovers, and the people at Hopsy were nice enough to send me one to do a review and to demo. So just showed up this morning. Have not taken it out of the box yet. So what you're going to be seeing here is my real-time efforts to unbox it and get it up and running, and hopefully be pouring a beer within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So one of the reasons I wanted to test this product out is because obviously I love craft beer, and while I have homebrewed in the past, those days have slowed down quite a bit since my second kid came along 3 years ago. So I haven't been able to do any homebrewing and to regularly have beer on hand without having to pay a silly amount of money for it. Also with my homebrewing, I've never kegged it, and I've never had a kegerator at my house. So I thought by testing this Hopsy Sub and Mini Kegs out, this would sort of be a simplified version of having a kegerator and 5 or 15 gallons of beer in a kegerator at all times. Here is the box that the Hopsy shipped in. You can see it's it's no wider than my shoulder width, and it's maybe 10 inches across on the top, and maybe a foot tall on the side. So it's not a huge machine by any means. It'll fit on just about any countertop or bar top at your house. Open it up. You see some instructions. See what looks like a drain catcher to put down at the bottom of the tap to catch any drops that might fall out. And then when I take this off, I see the tap handle right here, and then the Hopsy, the sub itself. So cord hanging out of the bottom, and as I peel off the protective wrapper, there it is. So you can see it's the keg, or I guess the chilling and pressurized part of it's not a whole lot larger than a gallon milk jug, maybe a little bit taller, and then has the cord coming out the back, and here's where the tap handle will attach, and here's where the beer will pull out of. So I'm going to take this and set it up on a desktop right next to me and walk you through how easy it is to get set up and running. So a few minutes have passed, just long enough for me to set the Hopsy keg up on my desktop, put the drip pan into place, and pop the tap handle on. Here is one of the mini kegs. This one is the 12th of Never Pale Ale from Lagunitas. You can see it's about the size of a 2-liter Coke bottle, holds 67 ounces, and has this nozzle on top once you take off the plastic cover. And so let's go through and see how it works. I read the instructions ahead of time, so I would have a reasonable idea what I'm doing, so hopefully it won't go poorly. Open up the lid like that, and then take off the tap handle assembly. Then put the mini keg in, push it down towards the back, and it's already started making noise, so that's a good sign. Snap this into place, and then drop the tap handle back on. Close the lid. So you can see the light here is red. That means it is not up to or not chilled down to the ideal temperature yet. I did have the mini keg in the refrigerator for the last 3 or 4 hours, so that will speed up the process of this turning to green. Once it turns to green, then it is supposedly ready to pour. So we'll wait a couple minutes and see how it goes. You can see the light's still red, but I am impatient and I want to try my beer now, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a pour. Given that I'm not listening to their instructions on making sure it's down at the cool temperature, And also keeping in mind that the first pour off of any keg is typically going to give you a little bit more foam, a little bit more head. I'm willing to let that slide here just because I'm in a hurry. So put a glass under it, which they were nice enough to supply me with. Pull this forward and okay, so not really surprising for pouring it directly off of a new keg. However, they gave me another glass, so I will be putting another one under there while I wait for this one to settle out a little bit. And my guess is this one's going to come out a little bit better. Okay, so still getting some foam here, and again, I can chalk that up to not letting it cool and not letting the mini keg settle a little bit because I've been moving it around, not letting it get in there and get cooled off. But I'm going to give these glasses a few minutes to let the foam settle out, and then I'll give it a taste to see how it measures up to the normal beer. So I've given the first pour a little bit of time to settle out. You can see it's looking pretty much like a normal pour of beer. Just a little bit of head on top, which is good. The light on here is still red. You can see just in the very corner of the screen. So it's still not at optimal temperature, but I'm going to go ahead and top it off just a little bit more and then give it a taste. There's another thing to mention is there's almost no noise from this. I can, when I first plugged it in, I could hear it cranking up a little bit, sort of like if you, it didn't sound any louder really than like a desk fan or a desktop fan or even like an external hard drive that would just whir up a little bit when you plug it in. So I can hear a little bit of noise on it now, the cooling system trying to get the keg down to temperature, and then there was some noise when I poured the first couple pours off of it. So. This is a beer, this 12th of Never Pale Ale. I've had this before, but it hasn't been really recent. I think the last time I had it was when it was on had it from a can in a Southwest flight, because it was one of the good beers that they offered on there. So don't have any real direct frame of reference for it, but I can give it a test and see if it still tastes like good beer or not. It tastes good. It has all of the floral hoppiness that I remember this beer having before. It's still I can tell it's not quite as cool as it should be, which is a sign of me needing to leave the keg plugged in for a little bit longer before I put a keg into it, or I should leave the sub plugged in for a little longer before I put the keg into it. And two, that I'd probably needed to follow the instructions and let it turn from red to green before pouring. But yeah, man, as far as being able to pour a pint of beer from my work desk without having to even get up on my feet, then I pretty happy with this. I think it's a pretty good product. We'll see how I'll have to or I'll do some periodic check-ins to update on its durability. You know, how it stands up to use. Is it hard to clean? Which, looking through the instructions, it looks really straightforward to clean. About the only parts that would need to be cleaned would be the nozzle, and then just wiping up around here if I'm dripping any beer. So it looks pretty quick and painless and stress-free to maintain it and use it. So if you check out the Hopsy website through the link on our blog post, you can see all the different stuff they've got available. And again, one of the cool things here is this isn't just it's not just putting out generic pale ale or generic stout or generic lager. They're putting out beers from, you can see some of the breweries here that they're partnered with. So you can get stuff from Gordon Biersch, from, who are some of the other ones that I've heard of, Strike Brewing, Lagunitas, obviously, Affligem, Dos Equis, Tiger, Moylan's, and several more. So the way they handle these shipments is you can either order kegs just one at a time or two at a time for a specific type of beer, or you can do it sort of like a beer of the month club, where you get a subscription and you ask to have either 2 kegs sent per month or 4 kegs sent per month, and you're able to pick and choose either what breweries or what style of beer, or even kind of what regions you want it from. So if you want to have a bunch of California IPAs because you really like hops, then choose the West Coast choose the West Coast IPA package. You could also go with stouts, or go with lagers, or go with whatever your style of beer is, and they will ship you 2 or 4 of these mini kegs at a time. And I may be a little bit off on the details of exactly how the subscriptions work, but I believe you can. It's not a long-term commitment. You just subscribe and for as many months as you want, and stop whenever you want. So as far as the value, and if you look on the link now through our website to where you can click through and buy the starter kit, which includes one of these dispensers and either 2 or 4 mini kegs, they are priced absurdly low. It's pretty clear that what Hopsy's trying to do is to get the keg out to as many people as possible, to let them see that this is really a good product and that the beer is good, so that they will then continue to buy kegs over the years. So think of it like Gillette. They sell you a razor because they want you to keep buying blades for the next 10 years. So yeah, all in all, my review of this thing is very positive. I can understand some of you might be skeptical of something that takes essentially a 2-liter Coke bottle full of beer and lets you pour your own beers off the tap, but I'm impressed. And they also sent me one other keg of an Irish Red, so I will be testing that out, and I'll report back on my reaction to that beer. And if I order any other ones, I'll give my feedback on them as well. But yeah, I'm really glad I got this to test out, and I recommend it if you're looking for a beer gift for yourself, or for a Father's Day gift or birthday gift, or anything like that. Give this thing a look. Again, the link is going to be either down below this video or on the blog post that we have this featured in. Thanks, Eric from Groomsmen Central signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hey everyone, it's Eric from Groomsmen Central, and I'm back for day 2 of my test of the Hopsy countertop kegerator, also known as the day that I actually follow the instructions and wait for the beer to be perfectly or properly chilled before I try to pour it. So from yesterday's video, if you all remember, or from the earlier part of this video, you all remember that there was had a lot of foam, had a lot of head on the beer, which eventually settled out. The beer tasted fine, but I think the cause of all of that foam had to do with the fact that I didn't follow the instructions. I didn't wait till this light turned from red to green, and to indicate that the beer was properly chilled, and also just to account for the mini keg getting shook up and being moved around and put into place. So I'm going to try doing another pour and see how it goes today. You can see much better results this time around. You can hear a little bit of noise in the background. I'm guessing that's something to do with either the pressure or the cooling system on it. Now it's stopped, but that's pretty much all the noise that's involved in it. Just as it's sitting here next to me, unless I'm using it, it doesn't make any noise during the day. I don't even notice that it's turned on, but I can tell by the green light that it is on. And again, you can see here I've got about a little under an inch, maybe about an inch of head on here, which is just about right. Probably could have been less actually if I'd done a better job of pouring it, but got no complaints about it thus far, and we'll see how the beer tastes now that it's down to the correct temperature. Like I said yesterday, it's been a while since I've had the 12th and Never from Lagunitas, but given that it tastes just as good as I can remember it being when I had it on, I believe, a Southwest flight the last time I flew on that airline. So yeah, I've got nothing but the highest recommendations for this product. They have some great deals running where you can get your kegerator or get your sub equipment along with either 2 or 4 of the mini kegs in your choice of either beer style or whatnot. And you can also subscribe for their bi-monthly or their monthly deliveries of mini kegs at some pretty good prices. The way it breaks down is they're essentially giving away, when you look at the cost of what the kegs would cost you, they're essentially giving away this piece of equipment just to try to get them in people's hands so that they can convince people that this is a good way to drink beer. So if you're looking for the taste of beer on tap at your house and you don't want to mess with a kegerator, or you either don't have the space for it, or you don't have the need to have 5 or 15 gallons of beer on tap at a time, maybe you won't drink it as fast, or drink it fast enough to go through that much beer before it loses some of its taste, then this is a great way to go. And one thing I didn't mention yesterday is the mini kegs themselves. Again, the size of a 2-liter Coke bottle. They claim that once they've been tapped, as long as they're kept plugged in and kept cold, that they are good for 15 days. So in case you drink your beer slowly and you don't want to drink a pint every day or every other day, once you plug it in, then you've got 2 weeks to go through and drink everything. And they claim that I believe it's 30 days if you've got an unopened mini keg, as long as you're keeping it in the fridge. So again, you'll want to keep the mini kegs in the fridge. One, just to keep them cool, because heat and light and just movement in general are getting jostled around are bad for beer's flavor. And 2, if you keep it in the refrigerator, then it will greatly reduce the amount of time it takes the amount of time it takes between popping a mini keg in there and having the light go from red to green. So I've got the Irish Red Ale in the refrigerator right now. So as soon as I finish this mini keg of 12th and Never Pale Ale, then sometime probably tomorrow, then I will pop in the other keg, and I may come back with an additional video to review that beer, because it's from a brewery that I have not had before. So bottom line, thanks for sticking around through this whole video, and I am very surprised at the quality of the beer that came out of this. I was not expecting to taste something that tastes as good as a can, or as good as a draft directly from a brewery source. So if you're looking for a way to drink draft type beer in your house and you don't want to have a big kegerator, then check this out, the Hopsy system. And if you look in the link below this video, then you can go directly to their website, where they have several of their big discounts and big deals that I talked about going on. Thanks. Take care. Hey everyone, back again for day 3 of my field test of this Hopsy countertop kegerator. At the end of the previous video bit, I finished off the mini keg of 12th and Never Pale Ale from Lagunitas, and I replaced it with a mini keg of the Irish Red Ale from Spider Bite Brewing in New York. I didn't get the keg replacement on video, but it was extremely simple. Basically, all I had to do was open this lid, popped off the tap part, or the tap handle, and unsnapped where the mini keg nozzle went into here, and pulled the keg out. Just it's sort of there's a spring or some sort of something down in this part that pushes the keg backwards so that it holds it in place. So all I had to do again was just kind of get down here, push it a little bit backwards, and then the front end popped up. I then set the keg off to the side and put in a new one, just as simple as before. Took off the plastic covering which protects the nozzle, put it in, and or slid the mini keg in, dropped the nozzle into place, and put the tap handle back on, sealed the mini keg, and it's ready to go. I put it in a couple hours ago, so I gave it time to A, to settle a little bit, and B, for the light to turn from red to green. So unlike last time, I'm actually following the instructions on allowing the beer to chill and to settle out a little bit before I pour my first beer. So I'm gonna give it a test, and my guess is that I will see better results than I did the first time I got this out with a keg that hadn't been fully cooled. You can see still a little bit more head than we would prefer, significantly less than we had the other day. Uh, and my guess is just like we saw the other day, when I give it some time to settle and to get off the first pour off the top of a mini keg, it'll subsequent pours should be significantly easier with less foam, less head. I have not had this beer before, or haven't had anything from this brewery before actually, so going to give it a taste test and see what I think about it. Irish Reds aren't my favorite kind of beer by any means, but I have had some that are good in the past, so hopefully this one is as well. Took me a little bit to get down below the head. It's pretty good. Again, Irish Reds are not my favorite style of beer, but that tastes like a well-made version of what it's supposed to be. I probably wouldn't get that again just because I tend to trend more towards pale ales, IPAs, and then occasionally stouts. But if you're looking for a red ale, you could do a lot worse than that. So I guess that's my start to finish experience with the Hopsy Sub compact keg and their compact beer tap and their mini kegs. In the interest of full disclosure, they did send me this unit and two mini kegs in exchange for me doing a review, telling everybody what I think about it. And we are, if you click on the link that's on our page, it is an affiliate link, which means which means that at no cost to you, we will earn a commission if you are to click through and make a purchase. But like I said in my Instagram post the other day, if I thought this thing was trash, I would tell you so. I'm not going to promote something that I don't think is a good product. So I'm giving you my honest feedback here, and they're not supplying me with free beer for life just in exchange for a nice review. I'm definitely going to order some more mini kegs that I'm going to pay for out of pocket, and if this thing didn't pour good beer, I would not be spending more money with this company. But my reaction is that it's a great product. It puts out great beer, and if you want a way to put something on your countertop that's not a whole lot bigger than 2 or 3 shoeboxes stacked on top of each other, then that can pour 4 pints of beer and keep them cold and under pressure for 2 weeks at a time, I don't think you could do a whole lot better than this product. So again, click the links below, and you can see where you can pick up a few of their current promotions, where you can get a mini keg and either a sub compact kegerator and either 2, 4, or 6 mini kegs, and you can also sign up for their beer club, in which they will send you 2, 4, or 6 kegs on a every other week or once a month type schedule, which you're able to get them at a discount, and also order the type of beer you want with each delivery. So once again, Hopsy, spelled Hopsy, sub compact beer tap or beer dispenser, mini kegerator basically. And first had the Lagunitas 12th of Never Pale Ale, and followed up with the Spider Bite Irish Red Ale. And that's it. And you can see just a few minutes passed, and the head has gone down on this. So, and again, I think the next beer I pour will be significantly cleaner coming off, just because the first beer off of any tap is generally going to have a lot more foam on it. So, if you got any questions, any feedback, put them down in the comments, and I will respond to them. Otherwise, I recommend you get one of these things if you want to be able to have fresh beer delivered to your door, which you can put in your home kegerator. Thanks.